Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to DCM Experiential Learning Project Briefing Session. Before we kickstart towards the project, and I'll inform you how exactly the modalities of this project will going to unfold, what are the requisites, what are the requirements, and how exactly the content needs to be structured to give your best through this project. There is a popular quotation from the movie Avengers, and the quote is, "Dread it, run from it, destiny still arrives." Whoever is enrolled into the course, the popular course, that's what we call DCM, Distribution and Channel Management, the critical cardinal imperative building block of this particular program, of this particular course, it all comes down, it all boils down to the nature of its spirit. And that spirit is what we call experiential learning. So this project is 100% experiential. That is the bare minimum demand for this course. And if you really want to excel in this course, you need to be equipped yourself to deliver your 100% in this course. Ladies and gentlemen, let's proceed further towards the briefing. Today, through this video, I will be briefing you all about the fundamentals, the requisites, the requirement, the content, whatever is required to give your best in your experiential learning project, which is the bare core fundamental requirement for this course. I'm your course facilitator, Hussain Aftab Changi, and also an ELP and marketing facilitator from IOBM. I'm going to take you through this journey, the experiential journey, in which I will be briefing you about each and everything from the crux to the detail, which are imperative. Unfolding, the project is actually divided in multiple sections. So we have around 4 to 5, 6 to 7 sections in this whole for the fulfillment of this project. And in every section there is a requirement of few imperatives to create the flow and the structure of not only learning, of not only project, but also will going to encapsulate the spirit of the experiential learning. Number one, what we need to understand that the project will going to be on the FMCG industry, predominantly because the nature of the course as well as the projects outline has been designed in a way, has been structured and be formulated, have been crafted in such a fashion that it will going to be applicable for the FMCG sector. So first off, be very, very prudent about the kind of a company you are picking up for your project, because that will going to set the tone of examination, of experiencing and learning about the processes, about the systems, about the flow, which are in practice of the company that you have opted for your project. Ladies and gentlemen, let me unfold the section by section. First off is about the macro perspective. So there is always two perspectives of evaluating any problem, any hypothesis, any situation. One, what we call the worm's eye view, which is revolving around the detail, and another one is what we call the bird's eye view, the top line, the macro perspective. So project will going to be kickstart from the macro perspective, in which you have to brief about the industry and the category breakdown structure. You have to tell and you have to formulate the category breakdown structure that should incorporate your company is operating, in which category, and not only category, in which industry your company is operating, and how that industry has been broken down into the subcategories. And that's the kind of a flow and the structure that you have to create. Why? Because until unless if we don't know in which industry and category we are operating, we won't be able to understand the scope and the breadth of the industry in which the company operates. So to understand the brand, it is important to understand the category. To understand the category, it is important to understand the whole industry. And that's how your vision ameliorates, and that's how your vision expands, and that's how you learn about not only your industry, but about the sister categories, about the parallel industries as well. That is why it is so cardinal and important. Moving forward, you have to tell about the category power drivers. what exactly category power drivers are. Category power drivers, those driving forces which generates the profitability, or we can say the revenue for the company, because until and unless if the revenue is not there, the chances are the profitability will not going to be there as well. So what drives the category? What are the forces that drives the category? What are the macro power drivers? What are the micro power drivers? What are the industrial power drivers? What drives the category? So understand that, dig into it. What are those forces? What are those streams that drives the category? So for that, we need to understand the category and we understand the behavior of the category. Once we know that, we will be able to create and craft the power drivers for the category as well. Then the belly of the market. Belly of the market is the size of the market. What is the size of the market in value, in rupees? And what is the size of the market in volume, in terms of tonnage, in terms of literage, in terms of carton, whatever the unit is available at your disposal. So from here, we will going to understand the position of the industry in the economy, the position of the category in the industry, and how exactly the category behaves. All right, so that is why it's very important to understand from the value perspective as well and from the volume perspective as well. Moving forward, we need to have the trend of bare minimum 5 years. For last 5 years, how exactly the category has behaved, how exactly your company in that category has behaved. Because in last 5 years, we can see the trending, and not only the trending, we also need to see that from year X to year Y, if the growth of 10%, for example, is there, what were the inferences? What were the impact? What were the initiatives which has actually impacted that growth? Or for example, if the growth was in negative 10% instead of positive, what were the reasons? Why? So not only the data is important, what's more important is the story we can extract out of the data, the insight we can get out of the data. That is where the learning resides. So we need to examine the industry, we need to examine the category, and we also need to examine how our company, when I say our company, the company that you have picked up for your project is operating in that particular canvas for last 5 years. All right, it's very significant. Then we also have to come towards the category share. What is the category share? And then the market share. And ideally, there has to be in both, in value and in volume, both, because that will going to give you a better perspective about the understanding of how the business operates in terms of both the metrics. Then coming towards the company's portfolio, what are the SKUs? How many SKUs are there? How many categories are over there? In how many categories, how many brands are operating? And also with the pricing structure along with the margins. So pricing structure should also incorporate the invoice price, which is the price on which the distributor purchases from the company, the trade price, the price on which the trade, the retail, the wholesale, the modern trade purchases from the distributor, and the MRP, manufacturer's recommended price, aka consumer price, aka retail price, whatever the term suits you, pick it up, the price on which the shopper purchases from the retail. All right, so we need to have the complete pricing structure so that we can understand the modality vis-a-vis in comparison to the next point, which is the market player. The market player, which means that, for example, if your company is A, what about the B, C, D, other competition? What about their offerings? What about their pricing structure? And when we will going to examine the pricing structure, we will going to get a lot of insights out of it. We will going to get a lot of insights out of it about the SKU offerings of company A compared to the SKU offerings of company B, the pricing structure of company A compared to company B, the margins what a company A is giving in the market comparing with company B and C, and that is how we can draw our analysis out of it. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a popular quote of from the Shakespeare's theater that here, lend me your ear. So I assume, and I humbly assume that I have your attention, even through this video, but I humbly assume that I have your attention. All right. So once the macro perspective has been concluded, we will be graduating towards understanding the company. Because by this time we have understood our industry, we have understood the category in which we are operating, we have understood the brands, we have understood the pricing structures, we have understood what are the SKUs available, what are the offerings available, at what price point they're available. But we have also understood how the industry and the category behaves. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we will be jumping towards understanding the company. So now you have understood the category. Now it's time to understand the company. So to understand the company, it's very important that what company stands for. What are the mission? What is the mission? What are the mission? All right. What are the values? What are the corporate objectives of the company? What are the sales objectives of the company? How sales objectives are in linkage with the corporate objectives? How sales objectives are actually driving and helping the organization to attain their vision and the mission. Okay, and then we will going to understand the sales and marketing interface, how exactly both the functions in the marketing, both the functions in the organization, which are also called as the commercial function, that drives the value for the company, sales and the marketing, despite the fact that they both are unique, independent, yet dependent on each other. All right, unique, independent, unmistakable, yet connected with each other. So what exactly those activities are, those processes are that binds both the organizations, both the functions of the organization on the same page? What creates the intervention? What activities or what interventions bind both of them? How it is done? What are the processes? So we have to understand and we have to map it out as well. Then we need to understand the organization's sales structure. Now the organization has a lot of departments. The organization is a cluster of multiple departments. They have IT, they have HR, they have marketing, they have sales, they have supply chain, they have CSNL, they have support function, a lot of them. But keeping the scope of the course in consideration, we will be understanding the sales structure, and that will going to incorporate the trade marketing, the shopper marketing, the sales support, the operations, the capability, sales capability part as well. That will going to encapsulate each and everything that revolves around the sales. All right. And not only the structure, we are also going to explore the organogram and the JDs and the headcount. For example, what is the role of sales director? How the role of sales director different from territory manager? What are the key duties of territory manager which are not done by area sales manager? How area sales manager is different from regional sales manager? What is the difference between category manager and a channel manager? What is the role of sales capability manager? What is the roles of sales operations manager? What is the role of channel development manager? What is the role of distribution manager? All right, so it's very important. It's very significant to understand the role. Until and unless we are not clear about the JDs, we won't be able to understand that who is responsible for the who is responsible for the duties which are happening in terms of strategic as well as the operational part. Then after exploring the company, we will going to explore one of the distributions. A company usually have more than one distributions. In majority of the cases in Pakistan, a few of the companies actually go for the corporate distribution, where only one distributor is there who's responsible for all the priorities and all the work, all the market development activities. But in majority of the cases, there are multiple distributions. So we will going to pick up, you guys will going to pick up one distribution as a specimen, and you will going to understand the hierarchical structure of that particular distribution. What is the role of the accounts officer over there? What is the role of a loader? Who is a loader? What's the difference between order booker and salesman? Who is the delivery man? Who is a warehouse officer? Who is a warehouse supervisor? Who is the accounts officer? Who is a distribution partner? Who is a distributor? All right, so these are the questions that when you will going to think of, you will going to answer it by going to the field and procuring the information, and that information will going to uplift you towards becoming a better, a visionary future leader. So over here, you need to understand their job description, also the headcount. How many loaders are there? How many order bookers are there? How many vans are over there? How many accounts officers are over there? And that's how many supervisors are over there. And that's very important, because from here we can understand the scope, the breadth, the granularity, the gravity the scope of that particular distribution. All right, proceeding further. And now here comes understanding the channel management and the market dynamics part. That's the section number 3. Over here, you will going to classify and you will going to design the channel architecture. Okay, how many channels are there in which company is operating? Modern trade, wholesale, international accounts, local modern trade, large groceries, GT. And it comes to GT, in which channels they are doing it? Kriana, large grocery. How many channels are there? Are they exploring the out-of-home channel as well? So design the channel structure and also tell that how much of a business is coming from each of the channel in terms of value or volume. If both of them are there, that would be an amazing feat to experience. But also, yeah, along with the business contribution, the universe contribution. All right, let's assume if a general trade is, from the business point of view, is contributing 30% value contribution, but the universe contribution is around 70%. So there is an insight that we can draw from the analysis. So that is why, while designing the channel structure, channel architecture, it is very imperative to have the data on business contribution and the universe contribution. Then the next will going to be the sales targeting and the monitoring. How exactly the targets are set over there? What is the method of setting the target on the strategic level, and how exactly they are broken down on the bottom level? Is it the top-down approach or a bottoms-up approach? What are the benefits of both the approaches? And once the targets have been set, how exactly they are monitored? Are they monitored through any system, ERP system? Great. How exactly it is done? What are the systems? What are the best practices of an organization to ensure the excellence in their monitoring process so that they can achieve the target? That's an important point to explore. Also, the next part will going to be how many distributors are there in Pakistan along with their contribution. If not in Pakistan, then bare minimum the data should be of the Karachi. How many distributors are there in Karachi along with their distribution contribution? How much of a distributor is contributing to the overall business of Karachi? That would be a great insight. Next will going to be the distribution management process. How the company manages the distributor. What are the key fundamental best practices the company executes, the company put in practice to ensure that the distributors sustains with the company and the operation remains smooth, so that no hiccups will going to be experienced in the long run that will going to eat and hurt the business in the form of loss of sale. Ladies and gentlemen, the next part will going to be understanding the ROI of a distributor, and not just understanding, also dive into it, learning from the numbers that how the ROI is formulated and what are the key drivers which are required to ensure that the distributor remains profitable with a decent ROI in every periodic period. Next will going to be the rural marketing and the peripheral marketing strategy in the process. How exactly is company is operating in outstation? What is the method of a company in operating in suburbs or countryside or non-metro towns or congested area, or where the sub-distribution model is operated, or where the handling agents are deployed? How exactly the rural market or the peripheral market is developed as per the practices which are run by the company? It's very important to understand. Then, what are the key criteria on which the company opts the distributor? What are the criteria? What exactly the company is looking forward? These are the 5 or these are the 7 fundamental points or the fundamental criteria on which the company examine, evaluate, appraise a distributor before the onboarding, before the partnership. Because distributor is a catalyst. Distributor is our marketing development catalyst. Distributor is our strategic business partner. So it's very important that the distributor's rhythm is aligned with the company's ideology. Then we have FMR and the replacement policy. FMR stands for fixed market return. There is another method, that's what we call AMR, which is actual market return. So what are the replacement policies a company operates? High chances are that if a company is operating in multiple categories, there can be different FMR replacement policies for each and every category. Pick up the FMR policy, pick up and understand the replacement policy, the replacement method techniques of the industry and the category in which you are operating. All right. So over here, we will going to understand that how exactly the damages occur, what are the methods to prevent the expiries, how exactly we can ensure that the FMR, the market returns can be as low as possible, and even if they are the claims type in the settlement process, what are the key claims the distributor encountered with? What are the key type of claims and how exactly the company settles? How long a company takes to settle the client, to settle the claim? That's also very cardinal to understand. Then the credit management. Distributor, how many types of credit the distributor gave in the market, dispersed in the market, to what channels, what is the criteria? Is it done on sale-based method? Is it done on bill-to-bill method? Is it done on check? If it's done on check, what kind of a check? Is it post-dated? It is collateral? Is it collateral or is it current check? Okay, even if these are the options, how the distributor decide that which channel and to which account I have to give which kind of a credit. Over here, it's very important to understand the credit management, because until and unless if the credit management is not fully understand, we won't be able to be in a position to give a decent suggestion, because credit management is a very integral part of the distribution management. Until and unless if the credit is not rightly managed, the ROI won't be in its right form, because there are three fundamental building blocks to generate a positive ROI. Number one, increase the sale. Number two, reduce the cost. Number three, optimize the investment. An investment can only be optimized if the credit is rightly optimized, if the claims are rightly settled, and if the primary shipment, the primary sales are rightly managed. Then it is very important to understand the transshipment, the price undercutting, and the stock infiltration, and what initiatives a company is taking to battle against all three of them. Ladies and gentlemen, proceeding further. Proceeding further towards another section, which is the sales operations, the scope, the breadth of the sales operation. Over here, we will going to understand and explore the behind the scenes systems and the processes which are needed to ensure the work is getting done in its rightful fashion. So starting up with the modes of transportation, what kind of the vans, what kinds of transportation are deployed for the secondary sales? What are the medium? Are they using Suzuki Ravi or Mazda or Shizor or three-wheeler or Chinchi or bikes? What are the medium? And also the count of that vehicle. How many Mazdas are there? How many Shizoras there? And what is the ideal load that the van is carrying in terms of value and also in terms of volume? And also which vehicle has been dedicated for which channel? And that's how we will going to understand that how the vehicles have been delegated and deployed for which channel, so that the optimization can be curated. Then the geographical coverage, how many areas or how many territories the distribution is operating on, and how many, what is the size of the universe, how many outlets, the type of outlets in that particular territory in which the distributor has been deployed, they are covering. And that's how we will going to understand the scope, the breadth, the reach, the mammoothness of the distribution process. Then we have to understand that how the channel development and the channel mapping is being done in the organization. For example, a new outlet pops up in one territory. How the company will going to decide to induct that particular outlet? How the company will going to decide what channel needs to be tagged to that particular outlet? What are the criteria? Is it done on the basis of retail environment, or is it done on the basis of sales volume, or is it done on the basis of projected sales volume? What are the elements which needs to be considered before mapping, before development of the territory, before development of the channel? What are the processes? So we'll explore that as well. Then we have the PJP development process, which is permanent journey plan, aka in some of the instances it is also known as itinerary. How exactly the routes are formulated, how exactly company generates the PJP, how often the PJPs are optimized, how exactly they curate the PJP for the modern trade, how exactly the PJPs are curated for the wholesale and the general trade. It's very important to understand that. Then we have the PJP and the route frequency. How many outlets are there channel wise? Are there on once in a week frequency? They can be on twice a week frequency. They can be on thrice a week frequency, or they can be at times can be on daily frequency. Let's assume. What are how exactly the outlets are formulated, how exactly the PJP is formulated, and how and what is the criteria that the route frequency has been assigned and associated. So we need to understand that as well. Then the fleet size means how many vehicles are over there at the distribution, and the capacity criteria. What's the load? What is the load and X amount of load that this particular van carries? And Mazda carries a different, Mazda has a bigger space, a spacious, so the load is Y. For Suzuki, the load is X. So we have to store that as well. Then the warehouse operations and stock management, how exactly the warehouse of a distribution is fulfilling the best practices, how the stock has been managed over there, what are the key fundamentals and the best practices for the hygienic warehouse are practices that are practiced. It's very important to understand that as well. So how exactly the warehouse is following the guidelines and how exactly the stock is managed over there, and that can only be done when you will going to visit the distribution and you will going to see the distribution warehouse and the stock, the offloading, the onloading, the hangama, the sales hangama, the sales bonanza that you will going to experience, and that will going to add value to your DCM nerve and the spirit. Then we will going to explore and you will going to enlighten about the primary sales ordering process, how exactly the primary sales process operates in that particular company, how exactly the shipment happens from factory to the distribution, what are the process, how exactly the payment is settled, how exactly the order is lodged, any ERP has been integrated or it is done through some other medium. So you have to tell that as well. Then the RTM process, the route to market process, about the order delivery, about the order booking and the delivery of that order. How exactly the whole booking process executes and how the delivery of that booked order executes in the market as well. In case if the order booking model or a pre-selling model is not there in the action, you have to tell about the spot selling method. If both of them are there, that would be a lovely sight and a treat to watch. Then the sales incentive, how exactly the sales incentive is formulated for the territory managers, for the ASMs, for the RSMs, and how exactly and on what KPIs those incentives are formulated. Also, we will going to understand the salary structure of an order booker. What is the base salary? What is the variable salary? What is the fixed salary? How exactly the variable salary is broken down into the KPIs? What is the criteria of understanding the KPIs? How much the target needs to be achieved? What are those KPIs? Why those KPIs are important to be achieved? And why they are linked with the salary of an order booker. So we will be exploring that ambit as well. What are the systems? What are the ERPs? What are the tech support that company has incorporated, the company has been enabled by to smoothen their processes? What ERP systems are actually in action for sales management? What ERP systems are there for the distribution management, for the merchandising wing, for the shopper marketing, for the budgeting, for the primary sales? Explore that ambit and become a tech geek over here, which will going to help you in understanding the project from the tech and the systematic method as well. Then proceeding further, how many the kind of training and development programs which are happening in the organization? What about the soft skills? What about the hard skills? What about the classroom training? What about the on-the-job training? What about the coaching and mentoring session? How exactly the learning infuses in the organization? How learning and development takes the toll for the employees, how employees and the organization are actually taking their L&D, the learning and development serious. So tell us, enlighten us about the kind of sales training which has happened, the development programs which which are conducted in the organization for their skill up, for their capability building, and which will going to help them in their operation work as well, and in the planning bit as well. Most important of all of this particular section, along with all the points, is the KPI selection. What are the key KPI the company, especially the sales division, the channel division, operates on? What are those KPIs? What is the criteria of those KPIs? What those KPIs define? What is the formula, the construct of those KPI? What is the cutoff, the hurdle rate, the bare minimum achievement of that KPI? How these KPIs are connected with the strategy, what impact these KPIs create on the strategy, and why they are important in the very first place. So explore, delve, immerse, awash, inundate into this particular section so that you can understand the very essence of the organization, why these KPIs are imperative at very first place. Ladies and gentlemen, moving forward towards the trade and the shopper marketing perspective. Over here, you need to understand that's the flashy work. That's for that work, this work, you have to go to the market to see and experience that how categories are operated in your, how the brands are operated in your category, and how exactly your company is doing on the shelf inside the store, because the real battle is on the shelf. The real battle is in the store. So that's why it's very important and imperative. So understand the in-store merchandising principles. What are the three principles that the company has actually opted, company has in practiced to ensure the maximum availability and the best-in-class visibility. So understand that as well. How exactly the merchandising division is supported to ensure the best-in-class displays into the organization. Then you also have to pick up one store, one walk-in store. It can be large grocery, it can be modern trade, it can be IMT, it can be LMT, it can be any store which is having following attributes. Number one, it has to be a walk-in store. Number two, it has to be an organized trade. Number three, it should have a basket buying where you can carry your basket, where you can pick up your trolley and you can browse. All right, you can browse and pick and choose. You can scan and through and pick and choose by your own choice. The store where it is having almost 3 to 4 aisles, where the checkout counter is there, that qualifies to be called as a walk-in store, a self-service store, a mini mart, a large grocery, or a modern trade. All right. So you have to go there and you have to draw the path to purchase layout of that particular store. In that way, we will going to see that the company in which you are operating on, where exactly the displays are, and what more value opportunities are there in that store where we can deploy more OCDs, means on out of the category display, or to improve our presence of the primary displays. All right, that path to purchase will going to render a lot of insights which will going to help in improving our presence, and that will hopefully going to improve the offtake or the velocity of the sales from that particular store for the company on which you're working on. Then the category placement principles. What are the key principles that a company employees for the category placement? Where exactly the brand needs to be placed, where exactly it needs to be there. It needs to be there on shelf number 1. It needs to be there on arm's length. It needs to be there on the thigh eye level or the thigh level. Is it needs to be there near the freezer? What kind of a cross-category principles that the company is using to ensure the resonance as well as the sellout. Then you also have to tell that how many trade tools are utilized and deployed channel-wise. What are the trade tools are used in general trade, and what are the trade tools are used in modern trade, or what are the trade tools are used in wholesale. Along with that, along with the trade tools, why they are used. What are the objectives of trade tools? Why they are used? What is the impact of these trade tools? Understand that by going to the market. Then also enlighten with the planograms. What is the science of the planogramming? How this planogram has been designed? Why is it designed in a way? Is it designed right now? Can it be better? Can we critically evaluate the planogram? If we evaluate that, what value addition we can do? So before we go towards the value addition, we need to understand what exactly planograms are. So you will also going to see and evaluate and going to experience that how each and every brand, in each and every SKU in which the brand you have picked up are arranged and organized in a very appropriate visible fashion. What is the method? Is planogram has been organized from a vertical method, or is it a horizontal method, or is it a brand method, or it is a brand placement method, or is it done through the price point method? What exactly it is? So understand that as well. Then the trade marketing programs. What are the trade marketing programs the company has run? What are the activities the company has done to ensure that the value growth persists by the end of the year for the wholesale channel? What are the activities which has been recently done on your brand by the company on the general trade channel? What are the activities that have been done on modern trade? So that's very important to understand the trade marketing activities and the activation that has been done and the impact of those activities. Then the customer development program. What are we doing to ensure and educate our retailer, our customer? That's our important customer, to our retailer. How exactly we can ensure and build and harness a decent, congenial, profitable relation with our customers. How we can do that? What exactly company is doing to ensure that the relationship keeps intact and the value can be of a mutual exchange. They are getting value in terms of our best in class service and the product offering, and we are getting value in terms of the monetary profit and the customer lifetime value. The association that the customer is there. He's working with us for last so many weeks, for so many months, for so many years, and we look forward to leverage this relationship in the future as well. That's how the relationships are cultivated. That gives you the streams of profitability in the longer run as well. To complete that, there is one more important. That's the last section of this whole project. Not the last, the second last, in fact. You have to then give a recommendation from the OBPPC strategic development. OBPPC stands for Occasion Brand Price Pack Channel. You will going to see this whole activity. Once the whole project has been completed, you will going to see and examine from the OBPPC lens, and we're going to map out a strategy to give recommendations, and to tell how exactly it can be aligned with their media, with their supporting activities. All right. And for that, one more thing which is very important and cardinal to do this project, definitely there's a lot of work. You have to go to distributor, you have to conduct multiple interviews with your point of contact. There can be multiple point of contacts as well. All right. And to understand this course and to understand this project into 100% immersefulness fashion, every student, every individual should visit 25 stores of general trade, bare minimum. That should be bare minimum. 15 modern trade outlets and 10 outlets of wholesale. Ideally, I will recommend that go to the clustered wholesale market like Shahabuddin Market, like Jodia Bazaar, like the market of Landi and Karangi, like Hedri Market, like Waterpump Market, like Karimabad Market, like Medicine Market, like Chadi Lane, like Chocolate Bazaar, like Khajur Bazaar. Go to these markets because the outlets will going to be in a very composite, compact format. So you don't have to invest a lot of time in your logistics and traveling because the outlets are nearby. So you can invest more time in the market while learning from the wholesalers of this of these well-known, popular uh, trading wholesale markets. So that's and over there, once you will go to the store, you will going to see the breadth, the depth of the product, the placement, how exactly the product is located in across all three channels. What are the activities are done? What is the shelf share? How many brands are there? How many local brands are there? How many counterfeits are there? How many Me Too's are there? What exactly the sales of an the category is, how many times, and you can also ask from their floor managers or the retailers, and they will going to give you tons of insights about who comes from the company, and what exactly the process of the sales, how many times you order, from where you purchase this, to whom you sell. And once you will go to the market, you will going to extract not the information, the jewel of information, the treasure of the information. The market is waiting to see you. The retailers are waiting to meet you. This is the time to gear up yourself, go to the market, make your hands dirty, make your foots dirty, make your feet dirty, and get the work done by bringing out the best of the best insights for the market. The market is ready. They are ready to welcome you. They want to see you. They want to meet you. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the directional designations which can help you in formulating your project. For your project, you can meet territory manager, ASMs, RSM, head of sales, account manager, distribution manager for few of the sections of the project, shopper marketing manager, channel manager, key account manager. So they are your go-to person, the go-to people in the organization who can help you in uh, crafting and developing this brilliant real life case study based project. And these three are the modalities. These three will go into the deliverables. You have to submit me the project presentation. You have to submit the content based case study, the formulated formal method mannered case study along with the presentation, and also you will be submitting the market visit report that you have formulated by conducting the complete market visit. Once all three has been submitted, evaluated, presented, then you will be rewarded or awarded with your points. These three are the cardinal deliverables that needs to be fulfilled. Ladies and gentlemen, here are a few of the instructions. Number one, read as much as you can on the information, as much as you can for the information gathering. See the data which is available on the Google. However, for this project, the use of Google will not going to help you a lot. It's all experiential. So you have to go to the distribution, you have to go to the company, you have to go to the market, and that's how you will going to accumulate and formulate this project. But for the understanding, the basic understanding, Google and see where exactly to get yourself familiar with the fundamentals and the basic knowledge. Observe, keep your eyes open, keep your senses intact, and observe what's happening in the market, what's happening in the distribution, what exactly happening throughout the process when you're doing the project. Take notes. Don't rely on your memory that you will going to remember it. No, don't take that chance. Take notes even on the phone, but take notes. Jot down the points. It will going to help you in recalling. It will going to help you in understanding things better. Ask the right question from the right person so that you can get the right answer. So if you are not going to conduct an interviews from the people, the designation that I have just highlighted, and you're going to have an interview with someone who is not from the sales channel distribution, definitely that person will not going to facilitate you completely. So pick up the right person, the right contact point, and ask the right questions, and definitely you will going to get the right answers. And above all, take pictures, going to the market, document that in the visual form, take as many pictures as you want to, take selfies, make boomerangs, make Instagram pictures, float it all on social media. Let the world know that you are doing an amazing project on DCM. All right, make yourself visible by documenting yourself through the pictures. Ladies and gentlemen, here comes towards the conclusion. The hardest choices require the strongest will. I wish you guys all the best because you have leveled yourself up to take this course, and you have leveled yourself up to sustain it till the end in a very bravado and the strongest fashion. I'm looking forward to see the kind of a work that you guys will going to bring in. Ladies and gentlemen, time for some action. So it's time to march forward towards excellence, towards towards bringing something and delivering something that has never been done before. Don't just make your record. Break all your shackles. Be more confident about who you are. Dare to challenge the assumption. Level up. Max out of this opportunity. This is the time, guys. This is the time that you have to step up out of your comfort zone and show the world that what kind of an aptitude and what kind of a capability you are armed with. Lights, camera, action. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Aftab Changi, your course facilitator, signing off from here, and I wish you guys all the best with your DCM experiential learning projects. Thank you so much.